Hello everyone. Welcome. Have you ever wondered how Russia, a country once based on agriculture and a serf system, has transformed into an energy-based modern power today? Let's explore this amazing transformation together. In this video, we'll cover three main periods. First, Russia's agricultural economy during the Tsarist era. Then, the central planning and collectivization under the Soviet Union. And finally, Russia's transition to a market economy and the challenges it faced. This journey will not only look at the past, but also help you understand today's economic dynamics. I've been working on this topic for a while, and am excited to share my findings with you. If you find this content interesting, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Let's get started. Russia's economic history, from the empire to revolution. So, how did this huge transformation begin? By the end of the 19th century, Russia had vast lands and rich resources, but most of this wealth didn't reach the people. Imagine, 80% of the land was controlled by a few nobles, while millions of peasants struggled to survive. Tsar Alexander II's abolition of serfdom in 1861 seemed like a big change, right? But no. The peasants were freed, but they had no land. They continued to struggle with debts and hunger. While Europe rapidly industrialized, Russia still relied on agriculture. The factories opening in Moscow and St. Petersburg could have been a ray of hope, but the workers faced even worse conditions: long hours, low wages, and poor living standards. How much longer do you think such a people could endure under such pressure? In the end, they couldn't take it anymore. In 1905, strikes and revolts erupted across the country. Workers demanded better conditions, and peasants called for land. Tsar Nicholas II tried to suppress these movements, but the unrest wouldn't go away. By 1917, these economic injustices erupted into the Bolshevik Revolution, which not only toppled the Tsar, but also destroyed Russia's entire economic system. But did this revolution really solve the country's economic problems, or did it open the door to another chaos? In this section, we'll take a closer look at Russia's economic history and explore the dynamics behind this transformation. The Soviet era. Now, let's move on to the Soviet period. After World War I, Russia's economy completely changed. The 1917 October Revolution led to the creation of the Soviet Union, and a new economic system was adopted: planned economy. In this system, the state controlled all production and distribution. Agriculture was collectivized, and industry was nationalized. The goal was to distribute resources equally and achieve rapid industrialization. The mastermind behind this plan was Joseph Stalin. At first, the planned economy brought great successes. By the 1930s, the Soviet Union had become one of the world's largest industrial powers. Factories were built, railroads expanded, and heavy industry grew. However, this rapid growth came at a heavy cost. Forced collectivization led to the deaths of millions of peasants from starvation, and people's quality of life was neglected. Let's think about it for a moment. When the Soviets sent the first human into space in the 1960s, the whole world was in awe. Yet, Soviet citizens were still waiting in long lines for basic consumer goods. Over time, the planned economy system started to collapse due to its inflexible structure. In the 1980s, Mikhail Gorbachev's reform initiatives, Perestroika and Glasnost, aimed to revive the economy, but the expected results didn't come. So, after the collapse of the Soviet Union, where did Russia's economy go? In the next section, we'll look at the shift to a market economy and the challenges Russia faced in the present day. From the collapse of the Soviet Union to today's Russia. With the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, Russia was plunged into deep economic chaos. The transition from a planned economy to a free market economy was painful. Overnight, oligarchs emerged, seizing the state's most valuable assets and getting rich, while ordinary people struggled with poverty. The 1998 financial crisis saw the ruble lose value, banks collapsed, and people once again faced economic uncertainty. However, in the early 2000s, the rise in energy prices helped Russia's economy recover. Oil and natural gas revenues brought billions of dollars into the country. During this time, the middle class grew, new living spaces emerged in cities, and consumption increased. However, this growth remained heavily dependent on the energy sector. After the annexation of Crimea in 2014, international sanctions were imposed, and the 2022 Russia-Ukraine war put Russia's economy in a tough position once again. The ruble lost value, foreign investments decreased, and many Western companies pulled out of Russia. However, Russia tried to counter these sanctions by seeking alternative trade routes and increasing domestic production. Today, Russia is working on reducing its dependence on energy resources and striving for economic diversification. However, global political tensions and sanctions are making it difficult to reach these goals. Now, let's continue exploring Russia's future economic path. Summary: Russia was managed with an agricultural economy for centuries, but during the Soviet period, it began to industrialize. However, this transformation came with great suffering for the people. After the Soviet Union collapsed, Russia shifted to a free market economy, but this transition was not easy. In the early 2000s, rising energy prices helped the economy recover, but growth remained dependent on energy. The annexation of Crimea in 2014 and the war in Ukraine in 2022 have thrown Russia into another tough period. Today, Russia is developing new strategies to cope with these challenges and aims for economic diversification. So, what will Russia's future look like? Let's continue exploring together. For more in-depth analyses and economic perspectives, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for new videos.